Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Welcome back, everyone. So we're starting Pauri 28 today. And in the last verse, Guru Nanak Dev Ji spent a lot of time talking about asking this question about what is the door of Guru Nanak like? What is the door that Guru Nanak has to walk through? What is the door that we all eventually need to face? And what is that house like? What is the divine doing on his throne? So Guru uses this whole analogy of the divine sitting in a throne. Guru then talks a lot about what the beings are all across the universe that are singing its praises. So all of the greatest divine beings and all the elements of the universe are singing the praises of the divine. But an important question that we have to ask ourselves is, when it comes down to it, what is the practice that we need to do to achieve this? How do we start moving away from knowledge into experience? And if we look at JAPJI Sahib so far, Guru Nanak Dev Ji has mentioned a lot of concepts. Some might call them philosophies, a lot of new ideas, challenging old ideas. But there's very little in the day-to-day practical application. There's only been a few indicators that Guru Nanak Dev Ji has given along the way as to actual steps that we need to perform. What are the efforts of the ordinary person? So the things that Guruji has talked about so far have been things like accepting hukam. That's a major concept that we heard right at the beginning. Hukam razai chalana. Guru Nanak Dev Ji also talked about Amrit Vela, waking up early in the morning. Guruji has used the ideas of going on a tirath, going on an internal pilgrimage, getting to know your own inner self. And then Guruji has spent time talking about suniye, listening to the Guru's instruction, and maniye, accepting that. So the question is, what else can be done? Is that enough? Is there more we need to know from the day-to-day ordinary life? What is the right spiritual practice? What are the right things that we need to be doing? There's only so far that the concepts and theories can take us. And if we look at Indian tradition, the sadhus and the yogis and the siddhs were seen as the greatest examples of people living a spiritual life. And in fact, some people talk about the entire JAPJI Sahib being a conversation between the sadhus and Guru Nanak Dev Ji, between siddhs, between yogis and Guru Nanak Dev Ji. And people even say that there are direct question and answers being had within JAPJI Sahib, where Guru Nanak Dev Ji is responding almost in a way that a direct question has been asked of him. So Guru Nanak Dev Ji looks at these wandering sadhus who were unmarried, had little or no worldly possessions, hardly even wore any clothes, had no jobs to feed themselves, no way of earning any money, simply walking around with a begging bowl from house to house, door to door, just being a spiritual person in isolation with no connection with the material world, getting whatever food they could from whoever was willing to feed them. And Guru Nanak Dev Ji talks to these people, these great spiritual beings, and these people are so enticed by Guru Nanak, so intrigued by Guru Nanak Dev Ji, that they want Guru Nanak to join them. And Guru Nanak is replying in a way that suggests that I don't need to join you, I already am one of you. I'm already a sadhu, I'm already a yogi. But the way in which yogis were seen at that time, Guru Nanak Dev Ji doesn't look like them. So they say, well, you don't look like a yogi, you don't dress like us, you don't carry the same things that we do, you don't wear the same things that we do. So Guru Nanak Dev Ji starts having a conversation looking at their external attire, the things that they wear, the things that make them stand out as a yogi. And Guruji responds, how is his form of yoga? What is the form that he believes all mankind can take on? So Guruji here is questioning their external practice and rephrasing the way that they look at themselves and saying, what is your internal practice? So Pauri 28 begins, Munda Santok Sarm Pat Choli Dhyan Ki Karhe Vibhut. So the word munda comes from mundra, which means earrings. The sadhus were known to be wearing earrings. The yogis were wearing these religious looking earrings that were mainly for men. Guruji says, I'm wearing some earrings, but my earrings are those of santok, of contentment. Munda santok. Saram means effort. Pat choli. The word pat comes from patra, which means the begging bowl that they carry around. And choli is a very familiar term for people who understand Punjabi, but it's not something that's very common in English tradition. In Punjabi and Indian cultures, if you're wearing any robes and somebody offers you something and you don't have a pouch, you make it out of your robes. You just take your whatever chola, whatever long garment that you're wearing. For women, it'll be the dupatta that they have, and they'll just make a small pouch out of it, and that's called your choli, that anything can be put into that. So Guruji says, Munda santok saram pat choli dhyan ki karhe vibhut. And vibhut is the spreading of ashes that the yogis would spread and smear all over their skin. So anytime you're walking around in India and you find someone of a very grey colour, a very obvious, distinct colour all over their skin, it's because they're spreading ashes all over them. It's a way to remind them that ultimately we're all going to become ashes. So they remind themselves by actually covering their entire bodies in ashes. So Guru says, the earrings are of contentment, effort is the begging bowl, and awareness is the smeared ashes on my body. So here Guru is directly instructing us to move away from external religious robes and look at what our internal state of being is. Guruji is saying that if you want to call yourself a spiritual person, if you believe that you're on a spiritual path, then your external isn't good enough. Your internal is something that Guru Nanak Dev Ji is more interested in. What you wear on the outside is merely the beginning of your spiritual path. That doesn't define your spiritual path. And if we look at the word yog, yogi, yoga, it means connection, union with the divine. Where does that union happen? Does that union happen based on what you look like? Or does that union happen within you? So your mind and the inner experience is where that connection happens. So Guruji is looking at what is happening within your mind. So when the connection with the divine happens inside you, then all of your effort has to be put inside you. The actual effort that you put to be on the spiritual path is an internal effort. That's where you have to put all of your focus. And your religious garments and your religious robes should just be a reflection of what is happening inside you. Your inner state of being should be reflected in your outer appearance. So that's something that we can see time and time again, that people who spend a lot of their time focusing on their external, they haven't really walked on the spiritual path. Their external is their identity. Their external is the way that they confuse themselves that they're on a spiritual journey. Guru Nanak Dev Ji doesn't accept this. So the way somebody would identify a yogi would be by looking at their external. Somebody would look at the way you're dressed and say, you look like a Sikh, you look like a Hindu, you look like a Muslim. But Guru Nanak Dev Ji doesn't take those as definitions. Guru Nanak Dev Ji is looking at the internal and saying your internal will define whether you're spiritual or you're not. So the true spiritual yogi is one who works on his inner practice. The outer is not good enough. The answer lies in your being rather than what you're doing. Kinta kal kuari kaya jugat danda partit. So the word kinta is your patched coat. The yogis would wear these kind of robes that were almost rags, made of just different patched materials. Kinta. Guru says kinta is kal. Death is the robe that I'm wrapped with. Kuari kaya. Kuari means virginity. Kuari is sometimes referred to as a young virgin female, an innocent young lady. Kuari kaya, make your body that virgin pure. Make your body that purity. And this should be your jugat. Jugat means, remember we talked about jog jugat tanped. Jugat means the technique that you use. Make this the purity. Make your body pure. Danda partit. Danda is the walking stick, the cane that they walk around with. Guruji says, trust, partit, is the cane that I walk with. Kinta kal kuari kaya jugat danda partit. A coat of death, virginity of body is the technique, and a cane of trust. So Guru Nanak Dev Ji here has listed a set of internal virtues, an inner state of mind. So let's look at those two lines again. Munda santok saram pat choli tyan ki karhe viput kinta kal kuari kaya jugat danda partit. There are a lot of variations around where the bisrams, where the pauses should be read in these two lines. Every translation that you look at will have their own interpretation. And how you break up these lines determines what words are joined with what words. So, because there are so many different variations, we can't say that there's one fixed way of pronouncing this, that there is a very fixed way of deciding where the pauses should be in these sentences. The spellings don't necessarily in these lines give us those clues. But beyond how you associate each word and what you associate them with, there are some very major themes here that Guruji is talking about. Guru starts by saying, decorate yourself with contentment, the earrings of contentment. These are your jewelry. Decorate yourself with contentment. Your effort or your discipline is the vessel with which you eat, the bowl, the begging bowl. Smear your body with awareness. Dhyan ki kare viput. Be cloaked with death. Make mortality the coat that you wear. Make virginity of body your purification technique, your yogic technique. And make trust your support, the cane that you walk with. Now, this particular verse looks very small. In fact, it's only 4 or 5 lines. But Guru Nanak Dev Ji has introduced so many different concepts here that in order to be faithful to this Shabad, we could really spend one lesson on every single word here. Contentment, discipline, awareness, death, self-restraint, trust. There is so much here that Guruji is talking about that in reality we could spend a lesson on every single one of these words. So I'll only go through a very high level understanding of what some of these things are that Guruji is trying to teach us.